Hey everybody, Dirili here. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Code Realize Guardian of Rebirth. We are on Van Helsing's route, and I'm kind of sad because we're closing in on the end here. I don't want to end it. I want it to just keep going. I want more of Van Helsing. I can never get enough of this guy. I love him so much. But anyway, to go for the good ending, we have to protest. We're not just going to let him tell us what to do. We're going down whatever path he does, whether it kills us or not. So, you can just sit back, relax, and let me read you a story. No, Van Helsing, you're wrong. I looked directly into his eyes. You're important, and that's why I want to stay close to you. This is my decision, and nobody else's. I'm more afraid of losing you by letting you go off on your own than I am of dying. That's why I came after you, to stay close to you, and to tell you how I feel.
Why? Why would you go so far as to?
Because I meant what I said. I love you. I truly love you.
Love.
I was thinking about it for a while, what these feelings I have for you are. I finally understand. If I had to give them a name, love is the most accurate. I'll say it as many times as I need to, Van Helsing. I love you. That's why I want to stay with you. No matter how dangerous it is where you're going, the only place I want to be is at your side.
Don't make this more difficult for me than it already is. I have no right to happiness.
Van Helsing looks more lachrymose and fragile than I've ever seen him before. Van Helsing lets me go and quietly turns away, speaking in a completely different tone than his previous shouting.
When this fight is over, I'll disappear once and for all. I owe you a great deal, Cardia. Thank you for loving someone like me.
I watch him as he slowly begins to walk away. Van Helsing, wait! I take a step forward, ready to chase after him again. He turns around and smiles at me. In the next moment... No! She should have been ready for that! A slight shock runs through my neck, and everything goes black.
You should have expected that, Cardia.
Van Helsing finds an abandoned mansion that its owners have fled from, and lays the unconscious Cardia down. The rain has stopped, and he heads alone through the dark streets to Tower Bridge where Alistair waits. He takes this time to think about a number of things along the way. His past self, who had sworn revenge. His family lying in their own blood. The vampires murdered by his own hands. And Cardia, who said she loved a man like him. He no longer knows how he should feel about each of these memories. It's a confusing feeling, as if he had just learned that the world he had believed in was only an illusion. He is finally about to face the true target of his revenge. He finally has the chance to avenge his family and his betrayed honor after everything he had been through, and yet his sorrow is much stronger than his anger. The dark flames that had been savagely burning in his heart are about to go out. This fact scares him more than anything. He runs through the chaos that continues to overtake London. Until he arrives at Tower Bridge. The bridge's usual traffic is nowhere to be seen, and a slight fog hangs about now that the rain has stopped. Although the city is continually in uproar, this place has a strange stillness, like part of a different world. One man stands at the bridge's center. The criminal mastermind, Azoth, who manipulated criminals all throughout the city and bent them to his will. The true target of his revenge, whom he must see dead by his own hands. The cause of all this evil.
You're late, Abraham. By my calculations, you were supposed to have arrived about 10 minutes ago. Did you take a detour, perhaps? That's unlike you. Shut up.
Alistair sees Van Helsing's expression and narrows his eyes.
I should have known that those defective pawns wouldn't have been able to stop you.
The man standing in the fog wears a familiar, friendly smile. A smile that Van Helsing had trusted in the past, which only fuels his hatred now.
Good work, Abraham. I knew I saw something special in you. Are you done talking?
Van Helsing draws his gun, and Alistair smiles again.
It's fine to get worked up, but it's not my time to die just yet, Abraham.
Van Helsing notices someone standing behind Alistair. The small figure steps out into the moonlight from Alistair's shadow. Van Helsing stares in astonishment.
Yep, what did I say? Why are you here?
Abraham Van Helsing, my enemy, cannot forgive. Something seems slightly off to Van Helsing, and in seconds, that feeling of unease grows as the boy fixes him with a fiery stare. How could you have done what you did to my father and mother? His eyes are filled with murderous intent, his voice a low growl. He closes in an instant, and though Van Helsing is able to block the fierce attacks with his gun, the impossibly strong impact of the boy's blows lifts Van Helsing off his feet and deadens his arms. How could you do this to my people? To us vampires? Like a bullet, Delacroix II is once more on Van Helsing, striking out in a rage. He is barely able to dodge the boy's heavy-handed attacks. However, the fierce onslaught slowly drives Van Helsing back. Delacroix II is far stronger and faster than before. This unnatural leap in power, though lost in his rational mind, there can be only one explanation.
Hidden strength. Alistair, you did this. Of course I did, Abraham. A rare, pure-blooded vampire specimen, I rather forcibly brought out the immense power within him. His mind may have shattered in exchange for his newfound power, but that's nothing I need concern myself with.
Father! Mother! No! Please don't die! The boy king screams in pain, lost in his personal nightmares.
You are vile! What are you talking about? Vampires are enemies of humanity, Abraham. You went about killing plenty of them.
Alistair begins walking.
No, I'm going back to the cathedral once more. You can follow along after you've dealt with this garbage. You think you can get away so easily? Oh, I'm not running, Abraham. I've been waiting for you, more than anyone else. Waiting for the moment when you are complete, my greatest work of art.
Your life is mine. I will have my vengeance for the deaths of my parents. His menacing look steals Van Helsing's breath away, but it's not the intensity of his glare that causes him to hesitate. Those eyes burning with hatred and sorrow. His eyes, his voice, his pained screams, it all becomes so familiar.
Ah, I see.
Van Helsing thinks to himself in a moment of silence. The pain of my people cries out for blood. Die, Van Helsing!
This must be what I looked like to her.
A quiet room. I wake to find myself lying in a strange bed. Where am I? I slowly stand, trying to remember what had happened. Then I recall Van Helsing doing something and knocking me out. That's right, This wakes me up completely. In a panic, I look at the tracking device that Impy had given me. The screen shows that the signal is coming from Tower Bridge. That's right, he must have headed for the location Alistair had mentioned back at the cathedral. Huh? Suddenly, the screen flickers for a moment, and the dots are replaced by the words "Target lost." What does that mean? Has something happened to Van Helsing? When this thought crosses my mind, I'm already running out the door.
Oh, are you still alive?
Of course! Who do you think I am? I suppose that doesn't sound too convincing, coming from someone who was knocked out in one blow. I didn't think you could shoot me, even as you were being knocked through the air. You're strong. Very strong, Van Helsing.
No. What saved me was...
No, I'm not leaving you. He recalled Cardia's voice just as he received a massive punch. That was the only thing propelling him. Through the immense pain, he had pulled the trigger thinking, I can't die, despite himself. Huh, you don't need to explain the reason. I know. The young king smiles weakly. His smile somehow has a sense of clarity and sureness now. This is the end. Van Helsing, kill me. I want release. I'm so tired of this. The more I want to kill you, the more I find I can't completely hate you. The more I want to forgive you, the more I can't. But most of all, I just want to be at my mother and father's sides. So please, just end my life. He begs from the bottom of his heart.
I thought I had rid myself of any emotion resembling mercy. But I can't simply toss this aside. I don't even have the right to tell you I'm sorry. Then the least I can do is grant him his wish.
Oh, I know he was subjected to that horrible experiment, but couldn't they have found a way? A gunshot carries through the night. Oh no. Maybe I'm too late for everything. I tried to push aside my anxiety and unease and focus on moving my legs ever faster. It feels like all I do is chase after Van Helsing like this. Van Helsing! I run and run. I can never catch up to him, but I won't stop. I've made up my mind to grab onto his hand before he sinks into the darkness forever. I run as fast as I can to Tower Bridge. The usual crowds are nowhere to be seen, and there are awful marks all over. I don't see Van Helsing anywhere, but... Deli. I find Deli lying on the ground. I run over to him in a panic. Deli, you're hurt. He's alive! That voice. It's you. Oh, what are you doing here? And you're so terribly wounded. Don't concern yourself with me. The one you need to worry about is him. What? Could he be talking about Van Helsing? He is truly a cruel man. He left without granting me my wish. Deli, you're crying. I am not. He left to settle his score with Alistair. He truly intends to see his revenge carried out to the end this time. Cardia, go after Van Helsing as quickly as you can. Alistair's true objective isn't to overturn the government or throw London into chaos. All he wants is Abraham Van Helsing. I don't understand. Neither do I completely. I was only half listening to him babble as I was in and out of consciousness. but I clearly remember that feeling of indescribable dread as I was listening. I don't understand why. What Deli just told me was so vague, with no hard proof, but it gives me an immense bad feeling. Alistair should have circled back to the cathedral by now. Van Helsing should be there as well. Don't mind me, just go. Your voice is the only one that can reach him. In his heart, he probably... Yes, I'll stop him. I promise Deli before he can complete his thought. I say it with as much strength as I can muster, so the boy can rest easily. Right. You probably don't need me meddling. Unfazed by my determination, Deli just gives me a slight smile. He is completely worn out, but his smile is very kind all the same. I have one message for him. I'm done with revenge, his and mine, both of them. I won't allow him to die. Tell him he has to live, for the sake of all the lives he took from my brethren. My breath catches in my throat. How much did Deli struggle to finally arrive at this decision? All right. Oh, I feel like she should hug him. I'm tired. Let me sleep for a while. Yes, thank you. As soon as I respond, he falls asleep, breathing softly. There's a peacefulness in his sleeping face that had never been there before. Thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, Deli. I wipe the tears from my face and look up. I have to go. St. Paul's Cathedral. That's where Van Helsing and Alistair and I will finally bring an end to all of this. Van Helsing walks alone through the cathedral, its interior lit a dim blue. He stops when he hears clapping. Ahead, he sees his teacher, his brother-in-arms, and the man who took everything from him.
Just as expected. Congratulations on making it this far, Abraham. Jimmy, I've come to kill you. Ah, yes. I've been waiting for you too. But those eyes. Did you not kill the vampire boy? I'm extremely disappointed in you, Abraham Van Helsing. Are you still not ready to come over to this side? I suppose I'll need to make one final move. You need to stop speaking nonsense. There's no way for you to escape. I'll give you a proper send-off, worthy of the pile of bodies you've built.
The resentment in his voice is so strong that he barely sounds human anymore. Alistair seems unmoved, even by the fierce, murderous intensity Van Helsing gives off. To the contrary.
Ah, I see that the key I needed has made its way here on its own. What?
Alistair directs his attention to something behind Van Helsing. Without letting down his guard, Van Helsing turns around to find...
Why?
You just can't shake her.
It's her.
Cardia is standing there.
Why?
By the time I rush to them, Van Helsing and Alistair have already confronted each other. I should be so happy that I finally caught up with him. Van Helsing. Faced with the confusion in the scene before me, all I can do is weakly call out his name. Van Helsing,
Don't say it. I can't turn back. My life has been a series of blood and gunfire leading up to this exact moment. If I don't get my revenge now, all of it will have been a waste.
You're wrong. I shout before I can stop myself. That's not true. It won't be a waste. Yeah, if he doesn't stop now, he's going to end up being one of the hidden power people. If he killed Alistair, or if Cardia dies, he's going to be one of them. That's not true. It won't be a waste.
How would you know?
Deli has a message for you. He said he's done with revenge. His own revenge, and yours too. He wants you to end it. He won't allow you to die. He said you need to live on, for the sake of his people that you killed. That's what he said. So your life won't go to waste. You have an option to live, to take a path other than revenge.
How cruel of him. It would have been so much easier if he had just told me to die.
That's not...
Never mind. There's nothing that can be done.
Van Helsing.
It doesn't matter who else forgives me. I will never forgive myself. So, please stop chasing after me. Please stop making this difficult. Just go away. I can't look at you anymore.
He completely rejects me. Oh. My chest tightens, and tears run down my cheeks, unbidden.
I didn't expect to see such pointless melodrama unfolding here. Would you like me to make her go away?
That's right. This is no time to weep. I wipe my tears and carefully watch Alistair's movements.
We should always be aware of bombs when you're dealing with Alistair. For someone who's been cornered, you're quite confident. No, you're wrong. You couldn't be more wrong, Abraham. What?
Alistair smiles, as if he could care about nothing less than the gun pointed at him. He looks at us with a gentle smile, as if he is simply admonishing an ignorant child. However, Van Helsing... His kindly demeanor is terrifying to me for some reason I can't explain.
Think about it. Did you think I, of all people, would stand before someone who was obviously stronger than me without a plan? I've had a few miscalculations, but my plan is about to reach its final stage, and nothing will stop it.
Van Helsing looks at him with suspicion, unnerved by Alistair's nonchalance.
Did you set some grand trap for us? A trap? No. I think gospel would be a better term for it. Don't you move. I'm warning you. I can blow your head off with a single movement of my finger. There's no need to be scared. Let me tell you a very special story.
He pays no attention to Van Helsing's warning and begins to speak very plainly.
Abraham, didn't you ever consider that your own strength was a bit unusual?
His words are completely unexpected.
What are you talking about? If you're just trying to buy time, it's no use.
Van Helsing is right. Alistair is talking about something that has no bearing with anything that's been happening right now. However, he pays no mind and continues to speak.
The strength to overpower a vampire, even though you are merely human. You're far stronger than any ordinary man. What makes the human weapon? Have you ever thought about why you're called that? That's enough. Did you ever consider that perhaps you literally are a weapon created by someone else? I said, shut up!
I don't want to hear anymore. That's what Van Helsing seems to be saying.
Here's a question, Abraham. When did you acquire such immense powers? Was it during the military entrance exam? No. Though you had some rare talent then, it was still within the realm of humanity.
That awful premonition I had earlier. Could it be? It's about to come true right before me.
Think hard about it. When did you first have such power? Did you? Alistair, did you used hidden strength on me?
It's the worst we could have imagined.
Congratulations, you guessed correctly. You're exactly right.
No.
I operated on you gradually, over a prolonged period of time. I used the vampire war to inflict the mental trauma required by hidden strength on you. Orchestrating your revenge against Finis was part of the procedure.
Alistair also brings up the incidents with Jack the Ripper and Nointe.
You needed to confront your past through countless battles with strong opponents. The Azoth cases were merely sideshows to polish you into a finished piece.
How could you?
Why? Why did you do it? Why would you go to such lengths to give me power? My objective wasn't to just bring out power within you, Abraham. I see you as a work of art. Art. It's the beauty of humanity, the peace that can be seen for the first time when in the midst of fear and chaos. You are the greatest and most powerful work of art that has ever been created, established using those terrible emotions. It's said that artists would sell their souls to the devil in order to obtain the ability to create works of amazing beauty. I am the same way, Van Helsing. You will finally be completed here, tonight.
Could he really have?
Did you really? You took everything away from me. For such a pointless reason!
Wait, I can see him getting angrier, and at the same time, his trigger finger tenses. I'm going to be too late. I close my eyes in anticipation of the tragedy about to take place. But the sound I was expecting does not occur. I open my eyes to see. He stands in the same position as before, an expression of agony on his face, but he hasn't pulled the trigger yet. Van Helsing's arm trembles, and it's as if he doesn't know where to aim his gun.
You can't seem to carry out the threats you're making. Why don't you shoot me? Just pull the trigger, that's all. Damn you! You did something to me! That's right, you can't harm me. Oh, I really thought he was gonna sacrifice himself to complete Van Helsing's transformation. The years of conditioning I've done to you have brainwashed you, and are preventing you from carrying out certain actions.
Then I will.
Really? No! Stop it!
I don't think he has a chance of beating Alistair. The man taught Van Helsing all he knows. But I can at least try to stop him from saying anything more. A heavy blow strikes me from behind. Ah! I fall to the floor before I can even register what has just happened.
Cardia!
Something swings down next to my face as I lie on the ground. I look at it closely and see that it's the end of Alistair's cane. Ugh.
There's no need to rush to the end of your life. I'm not the one who is going to kill you.
What?
I'd like to see you put your life on the line, and put on an excellent show for me, Cardia.
What do you mean?
Alistair, stop! If you lay one finger on her, I swear I'll... Behold, I make all things new.
An eerie beating resounds in the silence. At the same time, Van Helsing suddenly cries out in pain, clutching his head. Van Helsing!
It is done. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. My head! Alistair, what are you...
I don't know what's happening to Van Helsing, but I can tell that the strange way Alistair is quoting the Bible is causing Van Helsing pain. Van Helsing!
I will be his god, and he shall be my son. Now, we shall conduct the final movement of our symphony together, Abraham.
is a throat-splitting scream, then complete silence. Van Helsing clutches his head, looking down and unmoving. He is still as a rock. Van Helsing. I keep my distance from Alistair and call out to Van Helsing in a feeble voice. Van Helsing. He does react slightly. He's still breathing, and he appears to be conscious. I sigh, then reach out my hand to touch him. I black out for a moment. I tumble to the floor heavily, and the extreme pain forces me back to wakefulness. It's at that point that I realize that I've been attacked by something. But... why? I'm filled with confusion. The person who attacked me was... Van Helsing, why? He doesn't respond to my question. I look up at his eyes and see that they are disturbingly clouded. He doesn't even seem to see me right in front of him. I can only think of one cause. Alistair, you... I give him a desperate glare, but Alistair simply continues smiling, unmoved. Even worse.
Listen to me, Abraham. The girl lying before you is the object of your revenge.
He begins to push Van Helsing even further. What?
The one who made you kill the vampires. The one who brutally murdered your family. It was all her.
There's no way any sane person would believe that I performed any of these ridiculous accusations. But... you've brainwashed him with hidden strength to make him want to kill me.
Killing the one you love most with your own two hands. All the blood and fighting, and the demon born from within the billowing smoke, that is truly human beauty.
Alistair, how far are you going to push Van Helsing?
Don't talk.
Van Helsing's foot comes down hard on me, without any mercy. My entire body is racked with pain in response to the superhuman power in his stomp. Okay, and I'm going to have to insert an impromptu ending here, because I didn't realize that the ending, well, you know, I never know, but I couldn't figure out as I was reading where would be a good break, so I'm going to have to decide that afterwards, and insert this in that spot. So, I hope to see you for the ending, which will be the next episode, for certain this time. And I'd be so grateful for any likes, comments, subscriptions, or shares with your friends to show some support. Thank you so much for joining me, and I wish you all health, happiness, and safety. Dirili signing out. Bye-bye, everybody.